When did my journey into natural medicine begin? I guess I'd have to go back to a snowy set of mornings in my hometown of Owen Sound, Ontario. Covered in bruises, my pillow stained red each morning from persistent nosebleeds. I was tentatively diagnosed with leukemia. I was 5 years old. After a second series of lab tests, I was rushed to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto where my condition was downgraded to thrombocytopenia. After a bone marrow biopsy and an additional series of tests, I was transferred to my local hospital where I was kept under observation for several weeks. The doctors and specialists were perplexed and could offer no explanation as to how this condition could arise in an otherwise healthy child. More disconcerting was that they could offer no suggestions on how this condition might improve. One day, as late winter had turned to spring, my mother arrived to the hospital with a large mason jar full of wild dandelions and olive oil and lemon. She put them on my plate and she suggested I eat them. The next day, the doctors and nurses were amazed at the reduction in the size of bruises on my body. By the end of the week, they were virtually gone. My nose and gums had stopped bleeding, and my lab work was amazingly returning to normal. Within a month, I was as healthy as I had always been. This was my first experience with food as medicine, and an experience which I believe fundamentally influenced many of my future decisions and directions as a doctor. I started my practice in the summer of 1999 here in Barrie, Ontario, with the idea that a small-town chiropractor could really make a difference. Since that time, I've seen a colossal shift in primary care. Small family medicine clinics have rapidly disappeared, replaced with large industrial walk-in clinics with a roster of rotating doctors. Care times have increased while actual care has decreased. Signs are now routinely posted asking patients to limit questions and concerns to one or two issues. Healthcare has become sick care. Frustration amongst family doctors is forcing many to leave the profession. By 2009, I too had reached my threshold. On the heels of completing a speaking tour across North America in support of lifestyle medicine, it was clear to me that my experience and expanding skills had begun to exceed the scope of my practice, and more importantly, the needs of my patients. If I was ever to fulfill my vision of a better primary care practice, I knew a secondary medical degree was necessary. And so began my 6-year odyssey to complete my naturopathic medical degree, my prescribing license, and my IV certification. Each morning I would see patients, then drive to the college or to a clinic, drive back and see patients again until well into the evening, go home, tuck my kids into bed, and study well into the night. Wake up and repeat. When board exams rolled around, sometimes there was no sleep. What kept me going beyond the love of my wife and my kids, my amazing staff, the support of my patients, was this idea of what primary care family medicine could be. I imagined a medicine that uses lifestyle and nutrition first and drugs second. Primary care is by its very definition the first care or contact, the first opinion. The reality is that good doctors treat people, not diseases, and I think that this doctor-patient relationship is perhaps the most important in all of medicine. For me, primary care has to emphasize prevention over intervention and prioritize the collaborative use of powerful, safe, and drug-free alternative medicines such as plant medicines, chiropractic care, and acupuncture whenever possible over opiates and other addictive and harmful substances. Primary care should respect and acknowledge each patient's unique biochemical and individuality and emphasize the optimization of both structure and function. Primary care, above all, should respect, not subvert, the healing connection we have to our planet. So today, when I treated the 46-year-old male recovering from a recent heart attack, anxious about his future, or the 65-year-old who had just been diagnosed with prostate cancer and yet has so much life left in them, or the 19-year-old I saw dealing with depression and anxiety, I think about that 5-year-old boy and his parents, scared out of their minds, faced with the fear of the unknown. And I've come to realize how far we've come and how the future of primary care may actually be closer than you think. Until next time, be well.